They made assumptions about who you are, crafting an entire narrative based on misunderstandings and half-truths. Now, the truth about your identity has emerged, and their carefully constructed perception has shattered completely. Everything they thought they knew about you was backwards, upside down, inside out. The person they judged, dismissed, or underestimated stands before them in a whole new light, forcing them to question their judgment. Now, they're left with no choice but to rethink their entire life perspective. Their foundation has crumbled. Their certainty evaporated. Behind veils of false smiles, a calculated campaign unfolded against you. This wasn't casual misunderstanding, but a strategic manipulation designed to diminish your influence before it could reach its full potential. Meetings where your name became poison on lips that once spoke your praises. Messages exchanged with the explicit purpose of turning potential allies into suspicious observers. Selective information shared to create a distorted mosaic that bore only passing resemblance to truth. Subtle character assassinations disguised as concerned observations. Manufactured evidence presented without context. Strategically timed revelations designed for maximum damage to your credibility, all carefully executed while maintaining plausible deniability. The architects of this campaign operated with surgical precision. Each incision into your reputation calculated for maximum effect with minimal evidence leading back to the source. Your energy field recorded these betrayals long before your conscious mind caught up. These weren't paranoia or coincidence. Your spiritual senses were detecting frequencies of deception that your human sight couldn't yet perceive. Your multidimensional awareness was receiving data packages your conscious mind wasn't yet equipped to decode, creating the dissonance of knowing without knowing that marked this phase of your journey. Wake up to the reality that certain connections in your life were never built on authentic foundations. These relationships existed precisely because of the misperceptions about your identity, constructed specifically to keep you small, doubtful, and disconnected from your power source. The architects of these false connections required you to remain unaware of your true cosmic significance to maintain their influence. Yet through it all, something miraculous occurred. While external storms raged, the core of who you are remained untouchable. This sacred protection wasn't coincidental. It was divinely orchestrated. The very attacks meant to destroy you instead created an energetic cocoon around your most essential self, preserving what truly matters while the temporary and false burned away. This alchemical paradox, where that which was designed for your destruction became the very substance of your strengthening, reveals the quantum mechanics of spiritual warfare. Every energetic arrow sent to pierce your field instead became building material for your fortress. Every attempt to destabilize your foundation inadvertently revealed the bedrock beneath your feet. Every effort to isolate you from support actually severed the cords binding you to false connections that had been limiting your expansion. The universe works in mysterious symmetry. With each attempt to diminish your light, your internal flame grew stronger. With every false accusation, your connection to truth became more unshakable. The challenges that should have broken you instead forged you into something far more powerful than you would have become without this resistance. Now, witness the spectacular collapse of every plan designed against you. Their attempts to block your progress have backfired with a cosmic precision that cannot be attributed to mere chance. What they failed to understand is that energy directed at the divinely protected doesn't just fail. It boomerangs back with amplified force. The binding spells they cast, whether through malicious thoughts, deliberate actions, or calculated words, have activated dormant gifts within you that would have otherwise remained sleeping. Their opposition became the very catalyst for your awakening. The pressure they applied transformed coal into diamonds within your energy field. The moment universal forces redirected these energies back to their source marks a critical turning point in this cosmic drama. Suddenly, those who orchestrated campaigns against you find themselves entangled in the very webs they spun. Their weapons proved useless against your true nature because they fundamentally misunderstood who they were dealing with, attempting to use earthly tactics against a soul operating with celestial protection. Witness now the dawning horror as truth rises like an unstoppable tide in the consciousness of those who misjudged you. The veil drops not gradually, but suddenly. Reality cracks through their carefully constructed narratives, forcing recognition of their grave miscalculation. This awakening comes not as gentle morning light, but as blinding revelation that cannot be denied or reinterpreted. The same universe that supported your journey through perfect synchronicities now engineers precisely calibrated moments of undeniable clarity for them. Evidence appears through channels they cannot dismiss. Revelations emerge from sources they cannot discredit. Confirmations arrive through paths they cannot attribute to you. The cosmic unveiling unfolds with meticulous precision, dismantling their false certainty brick by carefully laid brick. The shock reverberates through their entire system as they discover how thoroughly they were manipulated into turning against you. The puppet strings become visible. And with this visibility comes the humiliating recognition of how easily they were controlled by forces using their own insecurities as access points. Their mental frameworks splinter as cognitive dissonance reaches unbearable levels. Everything they believed about you, every judgment, every assumption, every conclusion, now stands revealed as fundamentally flawed. This isn't mere embarrassment. It's an existential crisis that forces them to question not just their perception of you, but their ability to discern truth in all aspects of their lives. Consequences now manifest as those who aligned against you find themselves increasingly isolated. Relationships that once provided validation and support mysteriously dissolve without clear explanation. Social circles contract through seemingly unrelated circumstances. Group dynamics shift subtly but unmistakably, leaving them on the periphery where they once occupied the center. Messages go unanswered without apparent cause. Invitations stop arriving with the familiar regularity they once enjoyed. Professional opportunities recede without identifiable reasons. Confidence becomes strangely unavailable. The sources of emotional sustenance that maintained their sense of stability quietly withdraw their energetic support. This isolation isn't punishment. It's purification, a necessary container for the profound inner work they must now undertake. The cosmic surgeon removes distractions with perfect precision, creating the exact conditions required for maximum self-confrontation. Their own frequencies of deception have created an energetic shield that now separates them from genuine connection. The very tactics they deployed against you have become their prison walls. The universe, in its perfect accountability, ensures that each soul experiences the energetic equivalent of what they put forth. Meanwhile, your reality transforms in dramatically opposite ways. The universe conducts a massive reorganization of your experiential field, systematically removing friction from areas where you previously encountered resistance. This cosmic decluttering creates a path of maximum efficiency toward your highest purpose, allowing you to advance with a fraction of the effort previously required. Financial flows increase through channels you couldn't have predicted. Unexpected abundance arrives through vehicles you didn't consciously create. Monetary blockages that resisted years of effort suddenly dissolve without direct intervention. Resources appear at precisely the moments you require them, often through mechanisms that couldn't have been strategically orchestrated. Streams of support materialize that operate according to different laws than those governing your previous financial existence. These aren't random strokes of luck or arbitrary blessings. They represent the universal rebalancing that occurs when you align fully with your authentic path. The cosmic accounting system tallies every energetic debt accrued against you and initiates systematic repayment with compounded interest. The very qualities that made you a target for misunderstanding now become your greatest marketable assets. Aspects of yourself you were urged to suppress emerge as your most valuable offerings in this new energetic landscape. And now, let's take a moment to salute the ones who were never meant to fit in because they were born to stand out. Here's to the chosen ones, the silent forces, the watchers in the dark, always aware, always steps ahead, moving differently, thinking beyond, seeing what others refuse to acknowledge. They don't walk the easy road, they forge their own. They battle forces unseen, breaking illusions, rewriting fate itself. It's a path few dare to tread, and that's exactly why they do it. No masks, no pretense, just raw, unshakable truth. This is for the ones who don't need recognition, who don't ask for permission, who simply are. Here's to you. Those who misjudged you now face the most painful phase of their journey, a total reckoning with their own motivations. The cosmic spotlight swings with unerring precision to illuminate the darkest corners of their consciousness. Inner mechanisms they've spent lifetimes avoiding suddenly demand acknowledgement. Patterns of behavior they've justified through elaborate rationalizations stand starkly revealed in their true form. The mirror they must gaze into reflects not just their actions toward you, but the wounded aspects of themselves that made such actions possible. The fragments of their own rejected shadow that they projected onto your canvas now reappear, demanding integration. This confrontation with shadow cannot be escaped through distraction, denial, or deflection. The cosmic curriculum they've enrolled in accepts no incomplete grades and offers no early dismissal. Each lesson must be fully absorbed before progression becomes possible. Recognition dawns that their perception of you was never about you at all, but about aspects of themselves they couldn't bear to acknowledge. You became the convenient screen upon which they projected their unowned qualities, both the magnificent and the terrible. This projection allowed them temporary relief from self-examination. But that reprieve has now ended. The struggle to accept responsibility without collapsing into paralyzing shame becomes their daily work. Some will attempt to skip directly to forgiveness without doing the necessary accounting. Others will become trapped in spirals of self-recrimination that serve no one. The path between these extremes, the path of honest reckoning, requires courage few have cultivated. Yet all must now find. Your resilience through this ordeal wasn't solely individual strength. It was ancestral power flowing through your veins. The fortitude that surprised even you in moments of extreme pressure emerged from genetic memory encoding that far exceeds this lifetime. Your cellular structure carries the victorious outcomes of every battle your bloodline has survived. The wisdom that arose spontaneously in critical moments tapped reservoirs of knowledge accumulated across centuries. Generations of spiritual work and accumulated wisdom within your lineage prepared protective fields that activated precisely when needed. Energetic shields designed by ancient protectors within your soul family deployed automatically when specific threat thresholds were crossed. During your darkest moments, when it seemed you stood alone, legions of unseen forces worked tirelessly on your behalf. Teams of specialized entities operated across dimensional boundaries to neutralize energies directed against you, strengthened your auric field, and maintained vital connections to your highest guidance systems. Certain ancestral patterns needed activation through this exact experience to complete healing cycles that have run for generations. You became the transformational point in your lineage, the one with sufficient awareness to transmute what others could only repeat. This wasn't coincidental timing, but divine orchestration across time and dimension. The heritage of resilience encoded in your spiritual DNA awakened fully during this period of challenge. Qualities of endurance, discernment, and restoration that seemed to arise spontaneously within you are actually birthright gifts carried forward through blood and spirit. You accessed wisdom you didn't consciously know you possessed because it has always existed within your energetic inheritance. Observe now as visible shifts occur in your external reality, tangible evidence of universal order restoring itself. Watch as situations that seemed permanently imbalanced suddenly right themselves without your intervention. Notice how narratives that persisted despite your corrections now spontaneously unravel as truth emerges through unexpected channels. Pay attention to the reversal of perceptions, as those who once avoided you now seek your presence. The truth about your character and intentions emerges without effort on your part. Information you couldn't access before appears precisely when needed to clarify misunderstandings. People who witnessed events firsthand suddenly feel compelled to speak up after long silence. Written records emerge that contradict false narratives. Technological evidence surfaces that cannot be disputed. No defense is required. Reality speaks for itself as the distortion field disintegrates, allowing others to see you clearly for perhaps the first time. The energetic interference that prevented clear perception of your frequency has been neutralized by forces operating beyond the physical realm. The precision with which karmic accounts balance themselves reveals cosmic laws in action. Those who elevated themselves by diminishing you find their pedestals crumbling. Those who remained silent when they should have spoken discover their voices now carry less weight. Those who knew better but chose alignment with falsehood for convenience find their own credibility questioned. This restoration doesn't require your participation or management. The universal systems of balance operate with perfect precision, regardless of your awareness or intervention. Your task isn't to orchestrate justice, but to witness it unfolding with the calm certainty of one who always knew truth would eventually prevail. As this cosmic drama continues to unfold, some who participated in misunderstanding your identity will approach with apologies on their lips. Their eyes will hold the unmistakable glint of recognition that occurs when one finally perceives a truth hidden in plain sight. Their energy fields will carry the signature frequency of humility that accompanies authentic realization. Your discernment now faces its greatest test, distinguishing between tactical reconciliation attempts and genuine awakening. You must differentiate between performance contrition designed to regain access to your field and true remorse born from soul-level recognition. The difference reveals itself not through eloquence of expression or emotional intensity, but through sustained energetic shifts that words alone cannot fabricate. The cosmic fingerprints of authentic transformation cannot be counterfeited by even the most sophisticated manipulation. Holding space for others' growth while maintaining impeccable boundaries becomes your masterclass in spiritual maturity. This doesn't mean pretending harm didn't occur, or prematurely extending trust that hasn't been earned. It means recognizing that souls on genuine awakening journeys deserve witness, but not necessarily regaining proximity to your sacred space. True healing becomes possible only when accountability is fully present, not just for specific actions, but for the consciousness that made those actions possible. Some connections will permanently transform rather than restore, becoming something entirely different than what existed before. Others will dissolve completely, having served their purpose in both your journeys. The accelerated growth you've gained through surviving this profound misunderstanding becomes your greatest advantage moving forward. You've compressed decades of spiritual development into a significantly condensed time frame, absorbing evolutionary lessons at a rate that defies normal developmental timelines. You've cultivated energetic antibodies against deception that will prevent similar infiltrations in future encounters. Your spiritual immune system has developed sophisticated recognition capabilities that can identify misaligned frequencies before they penetrate your field. You've mastered discernment mechanisms that others spend lifetimes seeking, creating protection systems that operate automatically without conscious monitoring. Your energy field has developed advanced filtration capabilities that process external information through multiple verification channels simultaneously. This hard-won wisdom now serves as the foundation for the next phase of your mission. The defensive capabilities you've developed become offensive advantages in your movement toward your higher purpose. The art of integration now becomes your focus, absorbing the lessons without carrying the weight of the experience. This distinction determines whether this chapter becomes a source of empowerment or a point of energetic drain in your continuing story. Wisdom says, "Take the gold from the fire, but leave the ashes behind." Most significantly, you've gained unshakable clarity about your purpose that could have come through no other means. The very opposition that was meant to derail you instead defined your path more sharply than comfort ever could have. The contrast created by resistance brought your mission into high definition, revealing details that would have remained obscured in easier circumstances. Recognize that this chapter was always inscribed in your soul contract, not as punishment, but as activation. You chose this challenge from a higher perspective, recognizing that the particular frequency of misunderstanding you would encounter contained precisely the catalytic elements your spirit required for its next evolution. What appeared as a cosmic error was actually perfect divine orchestration. From the vantage point of eternity, this period of misunderstanding represents but a momentary blink in your soul's journey. When viewed through the lens of cosmic time, these challenging years constitute mere seconds in your soul's evolution. Yet within that blink, entire universes of understanding unfolded. Dimensional doorways opened that would have remained sealed without this precise catalyst. Wisdom accumulated at an accelerated rate that altered your soul's trajectory across multiple timelines. Abilities activated that would have remained dormant under gentler circumstances. Liberation from others' perceptions, perhaps the most challenging form of freedom to attain, became your hard-won prize. You've achieved the rarefied state of energetic sovereignty that many souls require multiple incarnations to develop. Never again will your sense of self be so vulnerable to external definition. The center point of your identity has permanently shifted from outside validation to internal calibration with your highest truth. The cosmic timing of this experience coincides precisely with global awakening patterns that require souls of your specific frequency to be fully activated and unencumbered. Your personal liberation story thus becomes interwoven with collective evolution timelines. What seemed intensely personal simultaneously served purposes far beyond your individual journey. As the final veils of misperception fall away, stand fully in the knowledge that you have completed a soul initiation few would have the courage to undertake. The identity confusion that others projected onto you served as the perfect catalyst for absolute clarity about who you truly are. Through the fire of misunderstanding, all that was inauthentic within and around you has been burned away. Those who most severely misjudged your identity inadvertently served as your greatest spiritual accelerants. Without intending to offer this gift, they provided exactly the resistance needed to strengthen your connection to your highest self. The pressure they applied created the precise conditions required for your quantum evolution. The opposition they mounted forced you to access dormant resources within your spiritual arsenal. The isolation they engineered pushed you to discover self-sustaining energy sources that never deplete. The rejection they orchestrated freed you from dependence on external validation that would have eventually limited your expansion. Their misunderstanding became the very foundation upon which your unshakable self-knowledge now stands. Through their unconscious service as catalysts, they participated in the activation of precisely the energy they feared, the fullest expression of your authentic power. The need for external validation or understanding falls away completely as you embody this truth. The compulsion to justify your choices to others dissolves without effort. The habit of measuring your worth through others' responses naturally extinguishes. The reflexive checking for approval before action transitions to confident, autonomous movement. The tendency to adapt your expression to avoid triggering others' discomfort transforms into unflinching authenticity. You no longer seek to be seen accurately by those incapable of clear vision. You've outgrown the energetic dependency that once drove you to contort yourself into shapes recognizable to limited perception. You've transcended the spiritual adolescence that requires constant reflection from external mirrors. This freedom, perhaps the most profound available in human experience, changes everything about how you move through the world, creating a sovereign field that both protects and projects your authentic essence. Your energetic signature now broadcasts at a frequency that naturally attracts resonant connections while automatically repelling discordant intrusions without conscious effort on your part. As others continue their necessary reckoning with the consequences of their misperceptions, your focus shifts entirely to the expanded mission that now reveals itself. With each step forward, the gap widens between the limited identity they attempted to impose upon you and the boundless expression you've become. Their mistaken perceptions now exist in a reality you have energetically outgrown. Their failure to recognize your light never diminished its brilliance. It merely revealed the limitations of their vision. In the cosmic library of existence, their misunderstanding of your identity will be recorded not as your limitation, but as the catalyst that launched you into the fullness of your power. What they intended as your diminishment became your ultimate liberation. Your time of being misunderstood has served its divine purpose. Now, step forward into a reality where your essence requires no explanation. Your power needs no permission, and your path unfolds in perfect alignment with the highest truth of who you've always been.